We're back, baby. I've discovered the beach. We wouldn't want the floor to fall through, would we?
Swagger down the street with your red lips and funky beat. You better hold your head up to the sky. I'm gonna roll with you till the day I die.
Welcome back to another episode of Saving the Golf GTI project. I have completed all the fabrication work and welding to the sills. I've done the hand-cut Dorito livery, blue fading into the orange at the front. I've upgraded the front brakes. We've replaced the snap coil spring, along with a few other mechanical repairs. Next, I'll refit the tail lights, number plate, and some of the trim to the boot lid. Then we won't be far off from getting the car back onto the ground. I am starting with the tail lights that go into the boot lid, making sure all the plugs and connectors are clipped in and that the nuts are done up tight. Then it's onto the larger rear tail lights that insert into the rear quarters. These will also have to be sealed with silicone around the top to stop water leaking into the boot. Then the interior trim in the boot gets clipped into place. Well, mostly clipped into place. I may have got heavy-handed and lost some of the clips in the process. I love trim so much. Next, the car aerial is installed, making sure the locking washer is put on before the nuts. There is minimal space under the head lining, so it took a little time to line it all up. I ended up taping the aerial to the rooftop just so it would hold in place while I could get the nut on. Then I could get the plugs back together and install the boot surround trim. The final bit for the back of the car now, and on goes the rear number plates. Picking up where I left off, I have been working away for the last week, so I haven't had a chance to do any work on this thing. But I do have some fresh rubber for the front, so once I get the rear arches installed, I can get both sill protectors back on with these fixing strips. We may have to make some more mounts further up in the area where I did the repair on the sill. Firstly, I want to get rid of this pond that's accumulated. We wouldn't want the floor to fall through, would we? For the arch liner, I'll drill some fresh holes for these to clip into, and the same underneath. Drill's just about to give out. Sounds pretty broken to me. It's properly dead. So I'll move on to another job. I will put the front wheels on. In fact, before I do that, I think these need a lick of paint. Originally, when I first started this project and I had plans to wrap the car orange, we thought it would be a good idea to paint the wheels graphite grey or anthracite. In the end, I found I had lots of etch primer in stock, along with some clear coat. I thought I would experiment and see what the etch primer looks like with clear coat on top. I think it turned out really good. How long it will last, I don't know, but you don't see many wheels in that exact colour. The main reason I wanted to spray the wheels is the glass finished alloy on the main face in lots of areas was pitted badly with surface corrosion, and as a result they looked terrible. You may notice I did not mask the tyres, so I'm banking on the fact eventually the paint will wear off the rubber. While I wait for the paint to dry on the wheels, I start tackling the job of cleaning the inside. This car has been abandoned for several years now, so there is a fair bit of mould on the inside, and it will take a good few attempts to get this thing clean. The worst areas by far were around the steering wheel. Let's see what treasures we can find in here now. Like most when cleaning out cars, you're always hoping you're going to find a treasure trove of all those years of lost pound coins, but sadly on this occasion I find nothing worth saving. The same went for the near side. I've discovered the beach. I think I'm going to have to find a better hoover for this desert I've found. I have sprayed all four wheels and applied the clear coat, so I've gone for etch primer grey with the orange and the blue, which should look quite good. I have also sprayed the centre caps. With the wheels ready to go back on the car, I sort them out. The two worst at the rear. As I said before, I'm putting the new tyres on the front. As it's front wheel drive and the wheels have the job of steering and putting the power down, it's a good idea to use the best rubber for that application. The tyre choice, I've gone for the same Toyo Proxy TR1 tyres as I put on the Peugeot. I just have a pair for now, which I'll put on the front. I'm gonna have to jack it up, aren't I? Carrying on with sorting the interior, I'm cleaning the handbrake cover and centre console. If you've been watching this whole series, you will remember this area was nasty. All kinds of biodiversity, so I'm making sure this gets a good clean. With a brand new replacement drill, voila. I continue drilling the holes for the rear arch liner. The original plan to fit the rear arch liner was to use the original clips on the inside. However, you can see they've gone brittle and most of them have split. Instead, I've reverted to repair washers and rivets, and I've done exactly the same on the near side. Last night I installed the center console and I have given the once moldy rubber inserts a good clean so these can go back in. Now I need to get the sill protectors back on, which is easier said than done, as I need to slide this piece on and have it flush at once, which is not particularly easy. I do one and then the others aren't in, and it's just a vicious circle. Eventually I get my act together and it slides into place. Okay, I can now fit new screws for these three. As this area was cut out when I repaired the sills, I need to replace what was there. With the strips situated with the majority of the screws, it was held in the correct place, so all I needed to do was drill some holes and put some self-tapping screws in, making sure not to do them up too tight, so there was a gap on the top to slide the sill protector down and onto. Now the challenging part is to actually get the protector on. With this strip on, I can now get some adhesive on the top part of the protector. It'll probably end up messy, but because there is damage to the strip where it hooks onto this piece, it won't fit very well anyway, so I will just do my best with this stick saw. It does say it sticks anything. With the adhesive applied, I'm careful not to wave it around and rub it on the car, as it's very sticky and messy to get back off, so I'm being careful to apply it evenly and align it accurately first time. Working my way from the front to the back, I have my clamps ready to hold it into place, and I run some tape along the door line to add some extra security while it dries. I've had to get creative with holding this piece in place. Using the broom handle wedged against the bench seems to work. I will now attempt to install the other side without moving the car too much, as all of this looks a bit precarious. Now that I had the technique down, I was confident in where the adhesive had to be. Once there was good coverage, I did my best in the low light to match it exactly to the offside. It took a while to get it aligned, but once I did, I secured it the best I could, and I wiped all the excess adhesive off to save any extra work the next day. I have both sides propped up now. I'll leave it overnight, hopefully it will stay in place the following day, and it looks to me like it's held. Nice. Take the really advanced props down. Might need a good clean up. Last night in the dark, I couldn't really see what I was doing, to be quite honest. It was a bit chaotic doing this side, not really having the room I need, but again, this side looks good. It just may need a bit of securing underneath. Happy with how well they're secured. I can take the tape off the sills and think about how I'm going to secure it underneath. Good, that's another job done. You didn't think I'd finish this build without using cable ties, did you? Like lots of parts on this car, over the years plastic gets brittle, and that included the fixings for the protectors underneath. So going back to my motorsport roots, I pull out the cable ties. There we go, same to the other side now. With everything taken care of underneath the car, I think it's time to get it back on the ground. I better just check the brakes are all tight. That'll be fine. I started by putting the wheels back on the near side, and as I lowered the car to the ground, naturally the offside will lift up slightly, which gave me enough clearance to get the wheels on the offside, and we seem to be making progress. We're almost back on the ground. With the wheels on the floor, I made sure to torque all of the wheel nuts up. The wheels are on, torqued up, all four corners are back on the ground. I now need to bolt the battery down as I took it out to charge. Way back when I picked this car up, I had to remove the battery to charge it as it was completely flat, so this is one of the first jobs I did. Luckily, I remembered where the bits were to secure the battery back into place. Also, before I get in the car, I thought it was good just to check it had some engine oil. That was smooth. With the pile of parts getting much smaller, we're down to the finishing touches. After securing the oil identification symbol onto the oil filler cap, I get the center caps back on the wheels, which were also painted in the etch primer. Check how many bits we're left with. That's off the drop link that I replaced. Yeah, I think we're good. Now we can finally get the car out into the daylight and see how this weird triangle Dorito livery looks. After pulling the car out, it was clear to see how many triangles we put on the car. If you would like to guess how many there were, feel free, but I'm not going to count them. I've just had a quick sweep up. This is all in aid of later on I'll be getting the Peugeot back in, and the Golf will live outside for now. As much as I enjoyed this Golf build, I am glad to get the Peugeot back in the tent for some more attention, as it's been a while. We're back, baby! Again, here you can see how much vinyl has been chopped into little triangles. They're still stuck all over the car. I'm still not completely sold on the look, but you can't deny it's a one-off livery, and both colours do really pop in the sunlight. I love the colour that the wheels came out, as it almost matches the rear bumper. With the rear spoiler, door handles and side mirrors in black, it really sets a theme, and for how it started, I think it's a good improvement. This is it, the first look outside. And I think it came out okay. I think I need to get these bumpers more back to black. The same with the sill protectors. I still have a piece missing on the bonnet. I still need to do a deep clean inside. My Hoover's not doing a great job. I might go to a car wash and get the inside valeted. Now with the car back together, it will be good to get it back on the road. So the next job is to get this MOT'd, and along with having this back on the road, and as we have some uprated front brakes, it makes total sense to get this on the track and see how it performs. I've just noticed the roof lining's in need of some maintenance. Not quite sure what's gone on there. It's almost taken 4 months to do this, but as most of you know already, all car projects are ongoing. If you enjoyed this episode, give it a like. Go subscribe if you haven't already. It's got car perfume. That's fancy. And I'll see you very soon.